Alright YouTube, this is part 2 of my jetfire review, my Siege jetfire review, and we are going to take a quick look at his accessories, how they incorporate in robot mode, and basically how they go together. And I don't want to have to transform him, but I will transform him just to show how they incorporate in vehicle mode, even though it doesn't really do much. It just goes together into like a weapons pack. Alright, so basically, here is Jetfire, and he is, completely unarmored right now. Go all the way around. Now he's got all of his accessories I showed in the first video. So we're going to start off with this. And basically this would open up. I already took the mask out, but this chest piece opens up and the mask stores inside of it. There we go. The mask stores inside there like that. Basically just push that out. This little square slot and this little square post goes into that. So, and then you can close this back up. Now to get Jetfire ready for this piece, you pull these little tabs out, and these are kind of like doors in his spaceship mode, kind of like little bays for them to, if you were gigantic on like a enormous scale, they'd be little bays for them to shoot out of or whatever. Anyway, that goes on to those tabs. There's two corresponding slots here and here that go on over those two tabs, and then there's a hole here that this will correspond with. It's more to make room for that, but let's go ahead and get this back on. And alright, so that goes on like so. Perfect. Why is that not staying in place? Okay, anyway, so that's his chest piece attached. Now for the wings, you want to make sure these pegs are exposed. They just kind of fold around, but we're going to take these two smaller weapons here, and there's a port right there, and we're just going to plug those on like so and like so. Then he's got these two double barrel shield guns. Those will just go onto the ports on his forearms, right here and right here. He comes with these two weapons here. They have ports here at the bottom here. We're gonna go ahead and turn him around, and he's got these two tabs on either side, and those will plug onto those tabs like so. I'm going to go ahead and turn him back around, and at this point there's only two things left. His mask, this blue clear section here is actually spring loaded, so this tab here will go into that slot and it will push it back in, and then when you take the mask off, it pops back into place on the spring, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool engineering on Hasbro's part. Now, I do wish he had some antennas that would attach or were attached to this, or just have some antennas for that G1 toy look. But anyway, here is his rifle, which it can split into two if you want. I prefer to keep it as one rifle, and that can just go into his palm like so. And then of course, if you want, you can attach these anywhere you really want to. You can go ahead and stick them back inside the thrusters. But anyway, there is Jetfire all armored up, and he retains all the same articulation. None of his articulation's hindered in any way. None of it is changed in any way. Everything is exactly the same. His head does still rotate all the way around. His arms will move the same way. Legs will move the same way. Let's see. Will this? I don't think this affects. No, it doesn't affect his waist rotation either, which it's very minimal anyway. But I think he looks really cool like this. But it's not my preferred display look. I will most likely be keeping him in his regular unarmored form. So now, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and just to add a little bit of time to this video, and also to kind of show the transformation back to vehicle mode, since he's packaged in robot mode, so people might want to see the transformation to vehicle. Either way, gonna go ahead and unarmor everything and take these off here, and we're gonna go ahead and transform him back into his shuttlecraft mode. So first thing you want to do, and it's basically just going backwards from turning into a robot. I think we'll start with the legs. Actually, we're going to go ahead and start with the legs. So the legs are easy. You just pull this panel out and it will flip around again, and then this hole will go over this post like so, and go ahead and collapse the leg and it will tab into place. You will feel it lock into place. It's basically this tab, and then there's a slot inside the leg. I might be able to find the slot here and show it to you. Maybe. Alright, yeah, I found it. So basically, there's this slot right here. You can see it there. Just right there. And that will go over that tab. And that's what locks the leg in place. Go ahead and lock his ankles in place. And now I can kind of bring this camera down a little bit. I want to show this real quick because it was brought to my attention in a Facebook Transformer group. When you open this up, there is space in there for Titan Masters, and I didn't realize this until I saw somebody else's post. Yeah, there's two spaces to put Titan Masters in, so they can indeed fly. In this top section you can fit up to 3 Titan Masters into this figure total, which is really cool, honestly. I didn't know that that was a feature of this figure until I saw that post, and even in my first part of the video you probably just watched, I said that I wish that he had space in there to store, and well, it turns out he does. Anyway, bring this down and then tab it into these thrusters. It's basically on a double hinged panel, and then that's basically the back done. Let's go ahead and, what the hell? Sorry for that. Come back here. We're gonna go ahead and do the wings. Make sure this panel is, or this peg is in here. Flip out the wings. Flip this little panel here. Bring this back up so you can see what I'm doing. And then bring this panel around just to complete the wing. And then bring that whole wing down. Locks into place. Same on this side. Bring that out. Bring this around. Bring it down. Like so. Come back around here. Can go ahead and collapse the arms. So I like to bend it at the elbow at 90 degrees and then bring it up at that hinge. And that just makes that, kind of a little bit easier for me. Just like so. Those are really, really tight ratchets. Very nice. So we're gonna rotate his arms out like so, bring his hands down, and bring out these. Now, between filming, I did put some super glue onto the wrist, the mushroom, just to kind of tighten that up because it was really loose. Now it's a bit more tight. It's not quite where I want it to be yet, so I'm going to end up putting a little bit more super glue on there probably to tighten that up more. But yeah, that's basically how I'm trying to tighten up that joint for his wrist rotation, because it was really loose right out of the box. Anyway, you want to go ahead and lift these panels up and out. Bring this up, and his head will push these two panels, these two trapdoors, in like so, and basically hide his head away in there, which is nice. His mouth is kind of exposed still, especially if you're like looking from the front or the sides. You can kind of see it there, but it's no big deal. I mean, this is a Cybertronian vehicle mode. Basically continue to lift that whole chest assembly up like so. Bring up his arms at that hinge here, and that locks into place like so on both sides. And then you want to bring his arm in and tab it into that back, just like that. That's basically the arms. Bring these panels out and they will come down and tab in, and they tab in two places. They don't tab in very well though, quite honestly they don't. And then of course the last step is going to be to just lift up the nose cone, flip out his landing gear, and then we gotta fold his feet in. So fold the heel in first, fold the toe in afterwards, flip out the landing gear, and there he is in his shuttlecraft mode. Let's lower the camera down. Alright, so there he is in his shuttle mode again. Pull the camera back a bit, just to try and get the whole thing in frame. He's huge. I mean, he's massive. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and set him off to the side, and we're gonna go ahead and cover his accessories here. So pull these all into the frame, pop open the chest. We're gonna put the mask back in, close that back up. Take this gun here, make sure that they're combined, and then the one middle peg is down, and there's two tabs here and two tabs here, and these two tabs on the back will go into those two slots there. These two tabs on the front will go into these two slots here. So basically line that up, plug it in. Next we're going to take these, and one on each side. This peg on the back here will go into that slot there, and then this little tiny tab right here will go into this slot here, and then this tab here will go into the side of the gun here. So basically put that in, and everything else will line itself up pretty well. Same on the other side, just put it in and everything will line itself up. So that's that. Next we're going to take these two guns, and this fin here will go into this slot here. Kind of hard to see, there we go. Get some light on it. We go into that slot there. Just like so, and the other side just like so, and hopefully, yeah, I think I got the right sides, because if I put them in the wrong sides then they like to pop out, and then these will just plug into the sides of those. So that one plugs in there, and that one plugs in there, and that is that all completed. Now basically you want to have these two fins down. Like if you were going to have him in just like his regular shuttle mode, you'd have him up like so. You'd have him flat down like so. And that just popped off. So I'm bumping the camera. Gotta find that. There it is. Alright. Go ahead and plug that back in. Stay in there, please. Now this peg on the handle is going to go into the one port on top of this ship. Just like so. And that's the extent of the armored up mode for the shuttlecraft form. And again, like I mentioned, these will come down like so. They're almost like little doors that, you know, they would enter through or whatever. Like, say, like, it opened and like a ramp would come down. If, you know, he were on a extremely massive scale. But these can also be used, especially these ones, because they go on these pegs in robot mode too. You can put these under here like so, if you want, and then take this one, and this can go on the side here, if you so desire, or if you see fit, you know, or they can go back here. Basically anywhere there's like a port, you can put the weapons, and there's not like a whole lot of, you know, places to put the weapons. Now he does have a port here, which is kind of curious, because there's not really anything you'd put down there. I mean, it might be for like a base, but I'm not sure. Unless it's for like the masterpiece stand. It might be for the masterpiece stand, because it does look like it's more of a 6mm peg rather than a 5mm peg hole. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and flip these out, put these on there as well, and I think that does look a bit better, having these underneath the wings rather than, you know, hanging off the side of that pack, because they don't really, you know, it doesn't make sense to have them there, I don't think. But anyway, any of these can go anywhere on this figure. That there's a port, and then of course you can plug these into the back here. So, and then once again, if you want, you can take up to 3 Titan Masters and plug, like 2 of them can go in here, and then 1 can go in the front if you unplug this and pull the engine core out. This does not fit into these slots though. This only fits inside the cockpit, which is kind of a bummer. I would have liked maybe to put it in here and then have somebody, you know, just kind of have that open all the time, instead of having to just have a piece that's kind of off to the side and doesn't get used. Which, I mean, I'm basically going to have that anyway with all these, you know, armor bits, but at least this all stays in one compact unit. The only thing I'd maybe remove would be these guns, but I don't know, I might just leave them on there and not really use them at all. But I do prefer him to be just his base shuttle. I might even put these away, you know, in storage, and he's gonna be displayed in robot mode mostly, and then of course I do play with my figures sometimes. So anyway, this has been part 2 of my Jetfire review, and I hope you liked part 1 and 2. Stay tuned for my next review. I'm not sure what it's gonna be yet. It could be something I already have, it could be something I'll get in the future. I do have pre-ordered the refractor, the G1 toy coloration mode set that comes with the extra parts to form a camera. I do have that pre-ordered. That should be here in, like, I think it's September, October, some point, that those would arrive. So definitely stay tuned for that. That's gonna be exciting to, you know, mess with. I don't have the regular colored ones. I'm not really interested in the regular ones, especially since you have to hunt down 3 of them, and they come 2 per case. Let's see. I'm definitely looking forward to the Siege Ratchet figure coming out. that does look like a really cool figure. Definitely a nice remold, retooling of the Ironhide figure, which I did like. And let's see. I'm definitely not getting the Unicron, but that does look exciting. It looks really cool. I have the Armada Unicron, which I believe fits the bill for my collection right now. I don't have the monetary funds to support purchasing the HasLab Unicron. Though if I did, it definitely looks amazing. It definitely has that G1 movie aesthetic. That look is, absolutely incredible. The size, absolutely amazing. I think they said it was like 13 pounds. And just like handling this guy, and he is very heavy compared to most figures I've handled. He's definitely, feels like he's made with like $80 worth of material. But just like, comparing him to this, and he feels like he's almost as heavy as, he's about half the weight of this Unicron, which is absolutely incredible, honestly, because it just shows how much engineering, how much, material was put into this figure. I definitely do recommend it to collectors who can afford this. I know $80 price tag is kind of reaching out a little bit, kind of digging down into the bottom of the pocket, but he's definitely worth it to me, honestly. Like, if you're going to go out and buy the G1 Soundwave with his cassettes, that's $80 alone, just actually $90. The G1 Soundwave himself is $50, and then the cassettes are $20 per pair. So, having either those G1, reissues or this, I think I definitely pick this over the G1 reissue any day. That being said, I do have a reissue, sort of. I have the Linkin Park Soundwave, which that's basically all the same, as it's just a gold version of the G1 Soundwave. He comes with all the cassettes except for Rumble and Frenzy. So I don't really feel the need to have a G1 Soundwave in my collection. And I have the Siege Soundwave, which, I really like that figure. But this figure I definitely do recommend. He is absolutely great. I did have a bit of regret when I first bought him before I opened him, but as soon as I opened him, this thing just kind of blew me away. I was just completely surprised by how good it actually feels in hand. So these guys are going, they are selling at Walmart for $79 in the United States, at least in Indiana, my region, the Midwest region, $79. With Indiana tax, it was like $85.49 or something like that. So, definitely recommend this figure. He is absolutely amazing. All the little features that they added into this guy, the armor that you can, the optional armor you can apply to him, the articulation for such a large figure, like, I can get him into poses I would never dream of getting the Armada Unicron in. This guy's basically has all the same articulation as the smaller figures, but he's like massive, and he's heavy, very heavy. Then like all the features to fit in with the rest of the toy line, like these pegs that come out. It is a bit awkward when they come out here in robot mode, but those little features, the way the hands close up and reveal the peg hole here, that's awesome. Just completely amazing work here. Plenty of paint. There's plenty of paint on this figure. You know, he's got all this wear paint here, which looks really cool. I wish they would have done that on the upper body as well, just to kind of make it cohesive, instead of it just existing here on the legs. I wouldn't have minded, you know, on the arms, here in the lower abdomen. You know, like not on the head. The head, I do wish that they had fit like a light in here, maybe. That would have been nice. I definitely would have recommended it if it had a light in the head, just because he's got light piping, but this whole, you know, chunk here makes it so you can't really see it. And I'll go ahead and shine a light here behind his head. You can see he's got light piping, and it's very nice light piping, but like I said, without a light back here behind his head or inside of his head, it kind of feels like it's useless. He just kind of has the cold dead eyes that a light piping figure, you know, has when there's no light behind it. You know, he has plenty of pegs all over the place for the blast effects. For, you know, like these ones don't work too well just based on their size, but the smaller blast effects would work great all over him. Then like the fact that these wings are actually painted underneath rather than just on the top side, they're actually painted here as well. That's, you know, good attention to detail there. All this metallic gunmetal paint here on the back of the legs. You know, all this paint here. You know, he's got enough paint that I do recommend, you know, I do recommend you pick him up. If you absolutely have to have him in your collection, if he is a necessary figure, definitely pick him up. He's leaps and bounds above the Generations, the Thrilling 30s mold, which I only own the Skywarp retool of that. He's leaps and bounds above that. Completely massive as well. He's huge, just enormous. So he's definitely worth the price in that range. He's heavy. He definitely has a lot of, you know, hardware, a lot of, you know, good ratcheting joints. He's got all the spring-loaded pieces here. He's got spring-loaded in the head there. You know, all this engineering that just makes him an absolutely great figure. So definitely, if you find this guy and you have the funds, you want him, get him. By no means do I want you to pass this thing up, because this is a great figure. He's easily my favorite figure of the Siege line so far. Close second would be Springer. So thanks for watching. Thanks for, you know, enduring these two videos. This last half of this one's just me rambling about how good this figure is. So if you really like my videos, give them a like, subscribe, share my videos with your friends on Facebook or anything. You know, anything goes toward just bringing more videos to you guys. So thanks for watching, and until next time, till all are one.